Hi, and thanks for tuning in to Dirt Bike's off-road video series. Today we have the KTM 450 XCF-W, which is a new bike for 2023 and marks a big change in philosophy for KTM. Might not seem like such a big deal because last year there was a 500 XCF-W which looked almost the same. That bike was a stuffed up attempt to comply with the EPA's definition of an off-road vehicle. It was only half step away from being a full-on dual sport bike in terms of noise and emissions. The only real reason most riders were interested in it was because it was eligible for a California green sticker. This year, KTM basically gave up on trying to jump through California's hoops, and so the 450 is imported as a closed course competition vehicle, just like any motocross bike. But it really isn't anything like a motocross bike. For that matter, it's nothing like the KTM 450 XCF, which is a full-blooded race bike with the same power delivery and characteristics as the 450 SX motocross bike. If you try to take a 450 XC on a trail ride, you learn pretty quickly it wasn't designed for that. The 450 XCF-W is designed for true off-road riding. To start off with, it uses the same frame from the previous generation KTM, which is more compliant. The front suspension is the WP Xplor coil-spring fork, and the rear suspension is much softer than that of a motocross bike. It has a radiator fan, a headlight, and a taillight, and a small instrument. More importantly, it has a smooth, friendly power delivery and a 6-speed gearbox. The gearbox itself is exactly the same as that of the 500 EXC Dual Sport, which is a favorite among desert racers. It isn't uncommon for riders to install the EXC gearbox into the 450 XC for racing. Now, they don't have to. When you ride the 450 XCF-W on the trail, you don't get the feeling that it's going to flame out. That's a huge relief compared to most 450 off-road bikes that have you always performing a delicate balance between the throttle and the clutch. You can drag it down to fairly low RPM and just roll it on. It won't cough, it won't backfire, and it finds traction where a motocross bike would just spin. In terms of absolute power, the XCF-W lands right in the middle between the dual sport bike and the motocross bike. Some of the power is lost in the exhaust system, which is much quieter than any competition bike. It isn't, however, as stuffed up as the dual sport or last year's 500 XCF-W. Anyone who plans on racing a 450 XCF-W will want more power. When you get it in wide open spaces, competition 450s will have a clear-cut advantage. An aftermarket exhaust will get you about halfway there. The rest is in mapping and the cam. The compression ratio and valve sizes are exactly the same as those of the 2022 450 XCF. The suspension is also too soft for racing. It actually might be too soft for aggressive trail riding. Going down that road might be the path for racers, but it will compromise the XCF-W's most endearing traits. It's a sweet off-road bike that walks a fine line between racer and dual sport bike. And, as many riders remind us, it can have dual sport status in most states with just a few bolt-on items. That's not the case where we are here in California. off-road videos, check out some of our recent productions. You can also find the print edition of Dirt Bike Magazine on the newsstand, where we've been since 1971. Thanks for watching.